Oh, hello, nobody. It's me again. Thank you, YouTube, for definitely not sending out any notifications. Don't bother with that. Hello, guys. Hi, hi, hi. There you go. There's some of you. Hey. What it do? I feel drained, dude, and I've got another fucking show to do. So I went and saw Avengers Infinity War today. Just came back and did a long form discussion based review with TJ and Scotty. All three of us have seen it. And it was like, I don't know how people will perceive the video that we made, but it was exhausting making it. I have a lot of positive emotion wrapped up in this film, and it felt really good as a dude that usually tears down movies because I'm so jaded, by the just the shit. It felt good to really like a movie. What it do? What it do? What it do? Yeah, there's a DFF tonight for patrons only. We're gonna eat some dinner, and then we're doing final prep. So that'll be happening. Patreon episode tonight. Um, yeah. So I still got that ahead of me. Yeah. Patron status indeed. Hmm. When is the DFF coming, live or pre? It's going to be live for patrons. It'll be tonight. Can't tell you exactly when it's going to be because we don't really schedule these to an hour. They're not always live, but we'll get a link out to you guys here shortly so you can congregate and make your plans and whatnot. What it's due, what it's due, what it's due. Is it Jeffrey Dahmer? It is not. But that's the last question I'm answering about it. I'm not going to play 20 questions with you guys. Bitch. Bitch. Paul, did you kill DP? Was this your master plan? Also, hi, big guy. How is you? I did. It was my master plan, and I'm doing fine. How are you? Bird up. How far in advance do you guys plan themes for DFF episodes? This episode has been planned. In fact, the last few episodes have had a lot of block planning. So we did a big block planning meeting where we planned out the shape and structure of the show through the end of April and into May. So the shows that you guys have been seeing the last 3 or 4 times, and the show that you'll see tonight, and the next 3 or 4 shows have all been planned since before April in terms of the direction of the show and what we'll be covering. So there's quite a bit of planning that goes into Wikipedia the show, where we do nothing but read from Wikipedia. All doomed. Hello, Paul. Yell at me. Yell at me, Paul's ego. How far in advance do you guys? Oh, yeah, I already answered that. That was a well executed plan. There you go. I think PRNK dropped a nuke on DP Studio. Okay, that's got to be a national disaster. I don't know how, but I heard about that on the news today. But YouTube sucks. No notification again. No, I know. Anytime I start one of these streams and like 5 minutes into it, there's only 40 of you guys here. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I get 200 or 300 people at 2 in the morning. So it's just one of those things. It looks like, slowly but surely notifications are rolling out, and 5 minute mark, I can finally start actually thinking about doing a stream. Yep. I started Fallout 3 and I'm not liking it nearly much nearly as much as Fallout 3. Whoa. Oh, you blew my mind with that one. I'm assuming you're saying 4. I haven't played 4 yet, so. DFF, that guy, Paul's ego. He likes to rant on absolute iniquities of society, so it gets him up in a tizzy. All right, yeah, I'll look at it. Oh, Fallout New Vegas. Okay. I mean, everybody's got their opinions. I thought New Vegas was a way better game than Fallout 3 was, but and not by a huge margin either. Fallout 3 was a great game. And I just think Fallout 4 is the best example of the genre yet. How's your night going, buddy? Just a lot of shit on the plate today. But doing okay. Revving up for yet another show. Just got done finishing an hour and a half roundtable discussion review of Avengers Infinity War with TJ and Scotty. We expected that to go half an hour maximum. It ended up being an hour and a half, and we cut ourselves short because we all realized, holy shit, we could just talk about this for days. So that'll be going up on Cinema for Cynics tonight. We just finished that. And now we are going to take a little break and eat some food, and then we're going to gear up for the Patrons episode of Deep Fat Fried tonight. And that'll be that. And then we roll right in tomorrow into yet another patron exclusive episode. This one being the goal that we reached for 2,000 patrons. We're going to be doing I think this was actually the 1,000 patron goal, which is we're going to be doing a show on Prohibition, attempting to do a Deep Fat Fried on Prohibition while drinking moonshine throughout the thing. So it may start as a show on Prohibition, but it will almost certainly end in a drunken, angry, screaming match. 3 ways. It's going to be a fucking disaster. It's going to be a beautiful, patrons-only disaster. That'll be tomorrow. I mean, it's just, stacked with shit to do, content to create, streams to conceive of, money to make. I mean, Pretty Sweet doesn't cover Infinity War for me. I was talking before there were more than like 8 of you in here, and I stopped myself because if I'm going to make this point, I should at least wait until a decent chunk of people have gotten here. But I was talking about how, like, as a dude that reviews movies and a dude that's also really jaded and cynical because I watch a lot of movies and most movies are dog shit. And that's just the truth. Most movies, no matter what they are, no matter what their budgets are really bad. And I've gotten to a point now where it's just, I spend so much of my time hating films in general, that when a movie comes along that I cannot hate because it's so brilliantly conceived and shot, and because whatever its attributes that push it over the top are, I treat that movie like a fucking diamond. And I never thought I'd say this about an Avengers movie because I always thought that they were a fun romp. And I've been talking about how I'm tired of this superhero genre forever. You guys have heard me rant about this shit. I walked into this movie expecting the worst, thinking that I was going to see Thanos, who's this character that I've loved since I was a teenage kid, and read the Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet series of comics. And I thought I was going to go in there and see some shitty ass Disney and some shitty ass decision wipe their asses with one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. And instead, I got the exact opposite. I got a portrayal of Thanos that was beyond my wildest expectations. They just absolutely nailed it. And it's not exactly the same Thanos that we see in the comic books. His arc isn't the same. He's got a little bit of a different flavor to him. But man, the feel of that character was knocked out of the park. Knocked out of the motherfucking park. Louisville Slugger style, dude. Marvel called the shot and hit it out of the park. It's a Babe Ruth moment for the franchise, dude, for sure. For fucking sure. I love loving a movie because I spend so much of my time talking about why this movie sucked and what sucked about it and how it failed in this aspect and it failed in that aspect. And okay, yeah, here's a sprinkling of good things about it. But I find like even movies that I think are passable or that I like a little bit, I find more negative to say about them than positive. But that's just not the case with Infinity War. It is one of those movies, one of those very, very rare movies for me that I've just really fucking love. And the more I think about it, the longer it goes since I walked out of the theater, and the more I talk about it with TJ. And like I said, we just did that long ass video for Cinema for Cynics. Um, the the better it gets in my mind. The more my mind chews on the movie, the more I start to realize little details that I missed, little aspects of the performance that have a hidden meaning, little aspects of the portrayal of Thanos or some other character in the film that has a deeper meaning than what you see on the surface of it. I'm gonna go back and see it again tomorrow with Ashley. She didn't get to come with us today; she had an appointment. But tomorrow, she and I are gonna go see it again. And I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's almost food fight level. Really haven't paid much attention to Marvel movies. Would I be able to get into Infinity War without the knowledge of the past few movies? I mean, you might be able to appreciate it as a standalone film, but you're denying yourself a lot of the enjoyment of it, not being familiar with the characters in the film and their interactions. Yeah, and it's a big task getting caught up at this point. It's like a soap opera. If you're a person that really hasn't watched the Avengers films or any of the supporting movies, and there's just a staggering number of them, then I really do think you might be doing yourself a disservice going this. I'm still going to say go see it, but I'm just telling you, I think you might be robbing yourself of some of the appreciation and enjoyment of the film by walking in not being familiar with what's happened to these characters in the lead up to it. You've seen Iron Man 1 and 2, Thor 1 and 2, and Avengers. I would say you're fine. Yeah, you have a good understanding, at least, of the principal characters. You're going to kind of scratch your head at the Guardians of the Galaxy parts, and you're missing out, honestly. Those are some pretty good movies, but I don't think you're robbing yourself of being able to enjoy Infinity War at that point. Even if you haven't seen one of these movies, I'm going to give you a recommendation to go see it. I think you will probably not enjoy it as much as you could have if you were up to date on what was going on, but it's still a movie that's important enough that I think everybody should see. Hey, Paul, I saw Isle of Dogs last night. You think you'll go see it? Nope. Probably not in the theaters. I was background artist in Children of Men and Sad Horned Man in the prison scene in Guardians of the Galaxy, just saying. Oh, cool, dude. Nito Beto, that's pretty cool. Everybody's fucking talking Avengers, I know. And I hate to be another one of those fucking voices, dude. You know? Um, because I know, I feel the fatigue. I know how much it can be painful to sit around and listen to people, because I'm tired of. Look, you guys have heard me here on this show bitch about how sick I am of the fucking superhero tropes. Sick I am of the movies, and sick I am of the characters in the movies, and I'm just ready for it all to be done. Well, I'm getting what I wanted, and it defied my expectation. Saw Infinity. I'm not gonna actually talk about anything that happens in the movies here. Thank you for the $5. I'm not gonna spoil people here. I usually don't give a fuck about spoilers, but a movie like this, I don't want to rob anybody of their right to experience it on their own and make their own conclusions about it. So I'm not going to spoil it here. And that's just going to make an endless devolving conversation and I just got done doing that. Like, I just got done having an hour and a half long conversation about what I liked and didn't like about this movie. If you're interested in hearing me say that, just, tune into Cinema for Cynics tonight and you'll get to see that. But, I'm not going to spoil this one. This is just a movie people need to go see, even if they don't like the superhero bullshit. And that's all there is to say about it. Other than that, what else is going on in the world, folks? How crowded was the showing? It was sold out. Thanks, Highdeology. Followed you for a while, dude. Oh, no problem. Gotcha. Smart idea. Yeah. Drunken Peasants is streaming. Well, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here, dude? There you go. I think you stumbled into the wrong stream, but that won't ever happen here again. Fuck out of here. Go evangelize your fucking favorite show elsewhere. This is not your platform for that. Hey, Paul, what do you think is a good way for a young adult to balance shit they need to get down with escapism? Find myself wasting too much time. Okay, so balance shit they need to get down with escapism. That's up to you, man, because you're the one making those priorities for yourself. If you're a young adult, you're in control of the value system that would, be used to judge how you spend your time and the things you value. Hedonism, you know what I mean? That's something you have to just, I can't give you advice on that because I don't know what your priorities are. I know what mine are. And I know that, I tend toward the hedonistic, but I know how to kick myself into gear when I need to get shit done. And I like the balance in my life when it comes to that, to those concepts. But to tell you how I arrived at those things would be to teach you nothing. Because I'm not you. I honestly didn't know you felt that way about JF's beliefs until I watched your stream last night. Look, dude, believe it or not, I didn't know I felt that way about JF's beliefs until I streamed last night. I'm not kidding when I say that I'm not real familiar with what's been going on over on Warski Live and shit. I'm not tuned into that. I very recently tuned into it because they were roasting some baked Alaska dude, and it was a good roast. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. The fight is, I love drama as much as the next guy, and this is some pretty good drama. This is just an absolute stomping. And I knew that they were, doing the little, like, memeing racist shit. But I didn't know that it had, like, just fully flipped to this is a platform for white nationalism now. Like, I guess, I thought people were being hyperbolic when they said that. When they're just like, oh, yeah, Andy's a Nazi, Jeff's a fucking Nazi now. I was always careful to be like, and I still think, whatever, say what you want about it. JF's always been nice to me personally. But this new narrative that he's pushing is beyond reprehensible. And I don't want to have anything to do with the fucking guy. Like, as I was saying on the fucking stream last night, I feel a little bit dirty for just going and, not necessarily the other dudes, because like I said, I don't want to be accused of slandering people that I don't know anything about. But, it's like Tonka and Failure. They were nice to me, and their show was fun, and I had a good time on it and would do again. But Warski platforming that type of shit and JF orchestrating it, I feel a little dirty that I even engaged with them. Like, I don't know, dude. It's just it's one of those things, man. I don't spend a whole lot of time going after this aspect of myself because it's one of those things that's seen as virtue signaling. You know what I mean? We live in such a cynical time that when you have an actual stand about something, you can't come out passionately about it without people accusing you of being disingenuous or trying to manipulate the conversation. So you don't hear me harp on it a lot because we live in a time now where the term racist has been used and abused to the point where nobody really even cares about it anymore. Like so many non-racist acts have been called out as racism and misappropriated as racist when they clearly weren't, that it's kind of a joke now. But I'm telling you guys, when it comes to real racism, I hate a motherfucking racist. And that's just the truth about me, and there's nothing I can do to change that, dude. It's maybe not even rational. I hate a motherfucking racist. And it's not something you hear me talk about a lot for the aforementioned reasons, because people are like, oh, virtue signaling, blah, 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 blah. But that's just a personal truth about me. I've heard enough of their fucking mouths. I've heard enough of their bullshit. I grew up and had to listen to adults talk that way. And it all ends in nothing. And I've heard every little aspect of the argument. And I'm just done. I hate a motherfucking racist. Every second I spend in the presence of somebody that's like that is a second wasted, in my opinion. Especially a covert racist. There's one thing about somebody, walking out and being like, oh yeah, this is the way I am, and owning up to it and being a dipshit, but at least having some knowledge that, other people don't feel that way. And then there's another thing, trying to manipulate people into feeling the way you do. Being a covert racist and going, oh, I'm not a racist. I'm just a white nationalist. You haven't heard that? You haven't heard that line out of anybody else's mouth? You think this is like unique to JF? And I just hate a motherfucking racist. And I've heard the line. I've heard the, oh, no, 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 I don't have anything personally against the Jews. I just think that they should only be allowed to live on the outskirts of white society. You know what I mean? That line, you can sell that line these days. That's why these guys are popular. Because there's a bunch of, like, this is always the preying ground for this type of racism, too. A bunch of disaffected young men. That's who's watching blood sports. A bunch of young men that don't feel like they got a place in society. They feel a little cheated, as all young men do when they, grow up enough to realize that the world doesn't give a shit about them, that it's not all roses, that it kind of sucks. All men are looking, all young men are looking around for like, man, where do I fit in this fucking nonsense? And they're very, very susceptible to people that are older than them, that they perceive as smarter and more learned than them, being able to manipulate them into believing things that they otherwise wouldn't have. And that's exactly what they're doing. It's right out of the fucking, neo-Nazi handbook. Get disaffected young men, start filling their head with ever more virulent, racist garbage, and then eventually pull the wool out and go, ha ha ha, we were Nazis all along, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil. Of course, you're not allowed to be critical at all in his crowd because, look, this is what Nazis do. They cloak their argument in free speech defense. They're like, no, I do not believe that I'm racist, but I do believe I have the right to say whatever I want. This is my free speech. This is not, you know what I mean? They're just hiding. It's a way to obfuscate their real intention, which is to subvert the conversation, to poison the well, and to make their fucking shitty little racist narrative seem like it has some merit. And it don't.
Whatever, Paul, you a faggot.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Paul, well, spoiler alert, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Say what you want. Say what you want.
Truth is truth, lover. I ain't saying nothing but the truth. If the truth hurts you, man, that's on you. If the truth hurt you, that's on you, nigga.
Oh.
Killing my homies in heaven. My homies up in heaven.
Wouldn't be an issue if people weren't stupid enough to fall for sophistry. Yeah, well, they are, though. So it is an issue. Well, at least you're having a good night tonight. Yeah. Having a great night tonight. When does the roundtable discussion release? It'll be up tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm going to go eat some food. DFF soon-ish. Just stay tuned to your Patreon if you're a patron. We'll put up a link for you. Let you know when to expect it live. But it is Friday, so at this point you should just be expecting it. But anyway, I'll see you patrons later, and you pirates. And everybody else, I'll talk to you later. Bye.